Today is Friday. It's about midday, and I've got 4 orders going out today for a total of $75.04. While that is not great by any means, it's substantially better than the sales I've had this week and a lot of last week. Those 4 sales have came in roughly in the last 14 hours, and that's almost what I sold this entire week up until now. I've got some good news, and it is my packing paper is here. That's not only good news because now I have some packing paper and don't have to use newspaper. It's good news because FedEx got it right again. I am not ready to start praising FedEx just yet because their track record is too bad. But this has been 2 deliveries over 2 days that both made it here just like they were supposed to. So I do want to give FedEx props for getting it right 2 days in a row, which historically that has not happened. The first item I've got going out is a Brady all-weather, it's like a ribbon cartridge or something for some kind of machine that prints stuff, I guess. And this sold for $12. It was an offer I sent out. I think I originally had it listed at, I don't know, maybe $13 or $14. But it sold just this morning. It came from the bin store, and I think it was $1. The next item is a Johnny Donnell's Into Photography book, 50 years. This came from the bin store, and I either paid $1 or $2 for it. It's still new and sealed in the plastic, and it's sold for $35.62 plus shipping. The next item is a Risho audio USB cassette capture device. You put a cassette tape in here and it connects to your computer with a USB cable, and you can download whatever's on the cassette. This sold for $14.61, and it came from an estate sale. I believe this was marked $1, so I think I only had to pay like 50 cents for it because it was 50% off that day. And the last item going out is a JT Sprockets 46 tooth sprocket for a motorcycle. This sold for $12.81 plus shipping, and it came from the bin store. This was either 50 cents or $1. And this is also an international sale, which I think it's my 3rd international sale. I've only had that turned on for about a month. I thought I would end up getting a few more international sales, but really, at this point, I'm not complaining and don't care where the sales come from. Today is Monday. It's pretty early. What is it? It's 10:26. I actually started filming this video. Well, I didn't start filming. I started pulling my orders to film this video earlier, and I've mentioned before that when you have aging parents, that a lot of times their problems become your problems. Well, as I was pulling my orders earlier to get them ready for the video and to get them packed up, I received a call from my dad. You have to understand that my dad is retired, and it's probably been for about 6 years now. When he first retired, he took maybe between 1.5 years and 2 years off, and he didn't do much. He's like, I'm just going to take it easy for a while, because where he worked, he was there for 30-something years. But as time has went on, he constantly is looking for things to do. I often tell him he needs a hobby, and he's actually tried a few hobbies, but it's really nothing that he's interested in. I think it would be awesome if he would get into reselling. Unfortunately, he has almost zero interest in that, and from a financial standpoint, you know, the money is not a motivator for him because he's not rich, but he's doing just fine. So there is no financial motive there for him to do it. In his quest to stay busy, one of the things he does, and he really does it, in my opinion, too much, is cut the grass. He's at the point of cutting the grass every 3 to 4 days. Now, here in the South with wet, humid weather, in the summertime, the grass can grow to the point where it needs to be cut about every 5 to 6 days. But he's to the point where he's cutting it about every 3, maybe 4 days. And that's only if it's not going to rain. If it's going to rain, he will cut the grass every 2 days. So he calls me and tells me the mower won't start, so I need to come help him get it up on the trailer and bring it to the repair shop, which I much prefer to the old days because my dad has always been a do-it-yourselfer. He wasn't bringing anything anywhere to get fixed. Now, he's a great mechanic. He can fix pretty much anything. Luckily, in his old age, he doesn't want to have to deal with that. So instead of me having to go spend 3 or 4 or 5 hours tearing things apart, fixing it, at least with this, I would just have to help him get it up on the trailer and we could go drop it off. So I go to his house, I go to the back of his property, I hook up the trailer, I bring it up to the area where his mower is, I back the trailer up fairly close to the mower. So I get out and I say, okay, how you want to do this? He's like, well, we're just going to try to push it up. And I'm like, dude, this is not a light mower. This is a 52-inch Gravely ZTR. It's a heavy mower. And I'm like, you know, you've got 2 4-wheelers and a side-by-side. Let's use those to our advantage. So he's like, okay. So he goes get the keys and unlocks the 4-wheeler and brings it over. And I said, did you try to start the mower just one more time before we do all this? He's like, well, go try to start it. So I got on the mower, started right up. Apparently it's a problem with the pressure switch on the seat, so it's not going to be a big deal. But this whole thing ended up tying up quite a bit of time this morning. Since Friday afternoon, I've only gotten 6 orders for a total of $72.02. I talked to my friend Kim this weekend, and she had only had, I think, 4 orders the whole weekend. And to some degree, we gauge our own sales off of the other person's sales because we do sell a lot of the same stuff. Not everything. I mean, we actually have more things different than we have the same, but it's still a lot of the same type of items. As a matter of fact, this item here is something that we both had one of. I did not do any sourcing this weekend. There were only 2 estate sales in my area. One of them was a bit far away, and I just didn't want to make the hour and 15-minute drive there and back. The other one was a little bit closer, but I did look at the pictures online, and it just didn't look like it would be worth me going out to this one estate sale. So instead, I spent that time listing. First, I'll show you the items that sold, but then I really need some help with something. So the first item is the one I was just talking about. It's a set of Boston Warehouse Touchdown football-shaped chili bowls. These came from the estate sale where me and Kim paid basically a total of $50 for all of our items. There were 2 of these at that estate sale, so we each got one. And this sold for $21.46 plus shipping. And again, I have almost no money into this. If it's even $1, I would be surprised. Kim has hers cross-listed onto Mercari, and she had a potential buyer on Mercari who asked her if she had 2 sets. She said no, that she didn't, but she checked with me, and I still had this set for sale. So she sent them a link to this set in my store. Then the potential buyer contacted me. They asked if I would take $25 total, including shipping, and I agreed to it. But then they never bought my set or her set. So the buyer that bought these was a completely different person. So sometimes we do have the same exact items for sale. The next item is a set of Auric vacuum bags. These sold for $6.88 plus shipping, and I am quite sure I only have 50 cents into these because I don't pay any more than 50 cents for vacuum bags anymore. And these came from the bin store. I sold a locking ring for a Presto professional salad shooter. This sold for $7.70 plus shipping, and it came from an estate sale where I ported out the whole salad shooter. I've already sold the whole set of cones for this, so this didn't sell for much, but it's all profit. Next, I sold the Wiggles Getting Stronger DVD, and this sold for $7.08 plus shipping. And at first I was thinking maybe this was something my son had, but I don't believe that he had more than one Wiggles DVD, and this was not it. I remember that one Wiggles DVD because we watched it a lot when he was a kid. So this came from somewhere else. I'm not sure if it came from the bin store, a garage sale, Goodwill. I just don't remember, but I know I've had it for a while. So I don't know how much I have into it, but I doubt it's very much. Next, I sold a Napa Fly 360-degree support travel pillow. This came from an estate sale. It was $5 fill-a-bag, so I don't have hardly any money into this item. And this sold for $15. I had it listed for a little bit more, but I sent an offer out on it and it sold. And the last item are some VCE Link RJ45 Cat 6A connectors. These sold for $13.95 plus shipping, and they came from the bin store, and they would have only been either 50 cents or $1. Now on to an item that I need some help with, and I'm hoping somebody may recognize these. I picked these up at an estate sale recently. I have pretty much exhausted eBay, Google Lens, and everything else to try to figure out what these are. So I picked these up at an estate sale just about a week ago. They're these little, I don't know, is that pickle forks or something? I'm not really sure. And there are just two of these, I don't know, I guess they're spreaders. When I Google lens these, the only thing that comes up with a similar type handle are these. Source Collection Coral Enamel Flatware. But these are regular forks, spoons, and knives. The handles on these look very similar, but they're not the same. So I don't know what these are supposed to be. And because of that, I don't know if I'm sitting on a gold mine here, which I realize I'm probably not, or just some junky weird stuff that might not even be worth listing. So if anybody has seen these or have any idea what these can be, please let me know in the comments, because until I figure out what these are, I'm not going to list them. And again, I don't think they're going to be worth very much money, but at this point, curiosity is really getting the best of me. I really just want to know what these are, because this obviously can't be the only set out there. I just finished up packing my orders. Most of the time, unless I'm on the phone, I watch reselling content on YouTube while I pack my orders. The truth is, I watch very little regular TV. Almost everything that I watch is YouTube. One particular YouTuber I was watching was mentioning that almost everything he sold because he accepted offers. When I first started reselling, like I'm doing now a couple years ago, I did have offers turned on. And I was getting so many lowball offers on things, I just turned them off. So at that point, I was not accepting offers. I was not doing any international sales. I wasn't doing returns. I was really just doing the bare minimum. Now, since then, I do accept returns. I do have international sales turned on. Probably the only thing I don't do is accept offers. I know that when I'm out sourcing with my friend Kim, she gets a lot of offers. Now, a lot of them are ridiculously low offers, but she does end up closing the deal on a fair amount of those offers. And I have been thinking about turning offers on my store for a while now. The only real issue that I'm running into is that the prices on most of the items in my store, they're already set where I don't really want to take much less than what the items are already priced at. And I do send out offers usually for about 10 or 12% whenever I send offers out to buyers. So yes, I am willing to take 10% off of the majority of items in my store to be able to get the sale, because I completely realize that sitting on inventory that is not selling is not making me any money. So I do want to move stuff, but I only want to move stuff to a point. I think it was the last video that I made, or maybe the one before, where I ran a 20% off sale off of already discounted prices, and I made almost nothing on those orders. So while I do want to move the inventory, I have to make at least a little bit of profit for eBay to be viable. So I think my plan of action is I'm going to increase my prices across the board about 10%. And that way I have about 10 or 15% to play with to hopefully end up making the sale. I guess I've always viewed offers as you're just telling the buyer that, yes, I will take less than whatever I have the item listed for. And I viewed that kind of negatively, but maybe it's not really the negative that I thought it would be. And my sales are so bad right now, maybe that's the thing that I need to do. Today is Tuesday. I've got 5 orders going out for a total of $53.40, which is only about $20 less than all of my orders for the entire weekend that I pulled yesterday. Right after I finished filming yesterday, I did turn on offers on all my items. And 3 of these 5 items sold through offers. 2 of those 3 offers were definitely lowball offers, but they were on items that really there hasn't been much interest in, and I'm okay with just blowing these items out. I did get one offer on an item that I declined, and I really should have countered. It was for a Krups waffle maker, and I believe I have it listed around $23, and they sent an offer of $10, which was, it was 50-something% off. And I really wasn't thinking when I declined it, because I should have countered at maybe 18, and I would have probably sold it for maybe as low as $15. I have almost nothing into it. The first item that sold is a generic multifunction practical wrench tool. Now, this could be used for a lot of different purposes, but it really is kind of a specific tool. And it's one of those things that if you know, you know. It sold for $5 plus shipping, and it was an offer. But I've only got either 50 cents or $1 into it. The next item is a 7-inch LED headlight mounting ring bracket for a Harley Davidson Softail. I picked this up from the bin store, and again, it was either 50 cents or $1. And I got an offer of $5 on it plus shipping, so I took it. This had stronger comps on it when I bought it, but I've been steadily reducing the price over the last year. It just has not had any interest. So I went ahead and accepted an offer on this. I sold a car seat gap filler storage pocket. It looks like leather. It's not actually leather. It's, you know, pleather or something like that. But this sold for $10.74 plus shipping. It came from the bin store, and I only paid 50 cents for this. Next, I sold a vintage Regal Polyperk percolator with the atomic starburst pattern, and this sold for $22.66 plus shipping. This came from an estate sale. It was the estate sale where me and Kim paid $50 for a whole lot of stuff that we bought, so I don't have very much money into this. The last item is a Knipex 12-inch zipper bag for pliers and screwdrivers. This was listed for, I think, $11 and something. The buyer sent an offer of $10 plus shipping, so I accepted it. This came from the bin store, and I think I paid $2 for this. Normally, I wouldn't have paid that much, but I thought this was an item that I may want to keep for myself. And if I'm not trying to resell it, I will pay a little bit more for something that I'm just going to keep. Today is Wednesday. I've got 3 orders going out for a total of $29.70. I don't even know why I'm laughing. I guess just sales have been so bad that all I can really do is laugh about it. I spent several hours today getting some listings done. I'm still just trying to get as many listings done as possible. So hopefully that when, I don't want to say if, when my eBay store recuperates and starts selling things again, I'll have a good bit of listings ready to go. And right now I have just over 900 listings. About a year and a half ago, I heard people talking about you generally sell about 1% of your listings per day. And I would say that that was somewhat accurate. I would sell about 0.5% to 1% per day on average. I got to tell you right now, I'm selling, well, I did sell 3 items today with just over 900 listings, but that's not 1%. It's more like 0.3%. The first item going out are some vacuum bags. 9 aqua green vacuum bags, and they also have 3 belts included also. These came from the bin store, and usually I don't pay more than 50 cents for vacuum bags. I might have paid just a little bit more for these because the comps on these were better than a lot of the other bags. So I could have up to $2 in these. I just don't remember because I've had them for a little while. But these sold for $8 plus shipping on an offer that I sent out. The next item is a Baby Yoda Squishmallow. This is one that I found at a thrift store, and I couldn't be sure whether this was the one that was more valuable or less valuable. And as it turns out, it was the one that was less valuable. It ended up selling for $7.70 plus shipping, but I have $3 into this item because I took a chance that it was the one that was more valuable. So I kind of lost on this, but it's a lesson learned, and hopefully I won't make that mistake again. The last item that sold is a Krups Belgian waffle maker. Now this one was a hard sell. I kind of felt like I was a car salesman again, trying to sell this waffle maker. And yes, I was a car salesman many years ago. The buyer sent me an offer of $10 for the waffle maker. I had it listed for $23 and some change. This was the item that I was talking about yesterday that I should have countered, and for some reason I just didn't. A few hours later, the buyer sent me a message very politely explaining that these older waffle makers don't have all that much value and some other stuff. Now, this may be an older model. I don't really know. I picked it up from an estate sale. I did the minimal amount of research, cleaned it up, made sure it worked, and listed it. The buyer said that he would be open to a reasonable offer by me, but it had to make sense to him with the shipping that was going to be kind of expensive on top of the price of the item. So I went back, looked at the sold comps, and also went to Terapeak to see what they were selling for. I can't say the buyer was 100% accurate, but he wasn't 100% wrong either, because the sold comps that I saw were kind of across the board on this item. I think the lowest price I saw on a sold comp was about $8. Most of them were in the teens, but I did see a couple that had sold in the low 20s, plus shipping on most of them. So I ended up countering back with $14, which is a significant discount from what I originally had it listed at, but I was willing to negotiate. He responded with a message saying that if I would pack it well, that he would purchase it. Well, I was busy at the time, so I couldn't respond to that message right away. And about 10 or 15 minutes later, he purchased the item and he sent me another message wanting me to confirm that I would pack it well. And as soon as I was able to, I did respond to that message, let him know I would pack it well. He also told me he had bought one last week from eBay, and the buyer basically just put it in a box without putting packing material and protecting it, and it came in busted. It's only going one state over from me, but the shipping is $14. So he's going to be all in after tax and everything about $30. So I'm not saying that his concerns about packing are unfounded, especially considering he just bought one and it came in broken because of poor shipping. So that's going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. As always, I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next video.